Hello, my friend. I'm sure you've seen the rumors swirling about the pending release of the DJI Osmo 360 camera, and I'm just excited as you are. So much so that I dusted off my Insta360 cameras and took them out for a spin this morning, only to come back and be reminded why they accumulated dust in the first place. Now, I've got the Insta360 One X2 and the Insta360 One RS. Surprisingly, both are still for sale on the Insta360 store. Don't get me wrong, I love the idea of a 360 camera on the motorcycle. It certainly beats the resources and planning required for a chase car, and, well, quite frankly, a drone just can't keep up. And if it could, it would probably crash. What do I want from a 360 camera on a motorcycle? Simple. Two things. Number one, I want better stabilization. And number two, I want an image that looks as good as the Action 4 or 5 or the Pocket 3 off the 360. Granted, it can have a little bit of warping, but still I want something that I can adjust the colors on and end up with something that actually looks pretty good. What do I mean about better stabilization? Well, in order to get that drone-like experience with a 360 camera, which I think is the primary reason to use a 360 camera on a motorcycle, you've got to extend it on the selfie stick, and the further you extend it, the more you get wobble. And you can see in this video, you start to wobble further away from the motorcycle. That's just injected into the picture, and you get this weird-looking sort of thing. Not to mention, look at how bad the colors are. So maybe better stabilization is just too tall an order, and I need to keep searching for a better mounting solution. If anyone has any ideas, please let me know. For mounting either one of these on the motorcycle for that drone-like look, I've been using the Insta360 Extended Edition selfie stick. While it's not recommended for motorcycle use, it is probably the most stable selfie stick that extends to the degree that would rise above the motorcycle to give you the drone-like feel and allow you to see over anything that's on the side of the road like guardrails or fences. Why is it so much to ask to just get a better image out of the camera? And before I start complaining about the image, here's a look at the image out of the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that I took right before I left on the motorcycle this morning. While it's not perfect, I like the way this image turned out. I like shooting in log, preferably, or D-Log-M, adding the color back in to taste, adjusting the exposure, and then I feel like I end up with a decent product at the end. Now, in the context of riding a motorcycle, maybe it doesn't matter when you're shooting just the motorcycle itself, but imagine you're going down the highway and over your shoulder is this amazing sunrise, and you want the sunrise to turn out sort of like it did in that DJI Pocket 3 image I just showed you. Well, this is how it turns out on the Insta360 One RS. It's just not the same. What I did here was shot in log at an EV of -1, and you can see just the amount of grain that comes back into this image, not to mention how just not great the sunset looks. Here's another shot with the similar challenges, and I don't know why it's so hard for Insta360 to provide clear LUTs for the camera, but even when going through all of the different LUTs they have posted for the Insta360 One RS, this particular one seems to be the best out of all of them, but it still doesn't look good in my opinion. Oddly enough, one of the best images I feel like I got this morning was from the Insta360 One X2. It didn't have the same level of noise as the Insta One RS. I feel like the color came back a little bit better and the exposure was easier to adjust. Now, I can accept footage that's a little bit warped off a 360 camera. I just want it to look as good as, say, my Action 4 or my Pocket 3. Here's a shot taken on the Action 4, and I feel like the stabilization is good, you don't have any warping, and it's super easy to bring the colors back with the LUTs that DJI offers for any of their cameras. As an added bonus, what I'd really like to see in a DJI Osmo 360 is the addition of time code. It really makes a difference on a motorcycle when the internal microphone really does a bad job of filtering out the wind, in my opinion, and wanting to use an external microphone when all you have is wind and engine noise. Syncing with audio becomes really difficult, although during clear accelerations or decelerations it does an okay job of syncing with audio only. Here's an example from this morning of synced audio, and it does a fairly good job, and I think you can appreciate the difference between external audio and internal audio. Any potential camera solution aside, I'm really excited to see what DJI comes out with when it comes to desktop editing, if anything at all. I personally hate editing in the app, and the Insta360 desktop software is pretty good in my opinion. DJI has the work cut out for them when it comes to replicating the Insta360 experience on a desktop, and hopefully they make a solid effort towards putting out a good product from the get-go. So what are your hopes for a DJI Osmo 360? Am I off base in my critique of the Insta360? What am I doing wrong when it comes to applying the LUT in post? Do you have any recommendations for mounting on a motorcycle, especially to get that drone-like look without inducing the wobble? Please drop a comment below and let me know. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And as always, crush your ego, inflate yourself, follow your intuition, and find your every day.